scripture in Ecclesiastes, and I know what it was. Well, why didn't you say something? Help. Okay. Okay. You ready? All right. Hi, welcome to Making Macon. Wave your hand. Okay. So today, I wanted to go over We're Just Friends. Sometimes. There's a whole long story about that blog post. You only got a little tidbit of that. The We're Just Friends came from an elderly lady in our church because she always used to laugh and make fun of us, and she was just like, oh yeah, you are just friends. And anyway, so it all just kind of happened from there. But we celebrated 25 years this past December. I will say it has been a happy 25 years. Look, he's just nodding. No, he's not really.
Yeah, I would agree. I concur.
He concurs. He says this is all about me and what I'm doing here, but I'm trying to get him to pitch in a little bit more. But anyways, I'm very grateful to have him on with me today to share part of our relationship, maybe in some little tidbits on what you can do to improve your relationship and how to keep it alive. One of my blog posts that I talked about, and that is one of, I believe it was in that post and maybe another one, but I did talk about communication and how extremely important it is. And if there's anything that I could just hammer into people's head is how important communication is. Because if you don't have communication, you don't have a marriage, because you don't understand.
Yeah.
You just don't. So anyways, so let's start off with our first question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bring it.
100%. All right, how did we meet and what drew us to each other?
We met in church, church
school.
Yeah.
We met at school, yeah. You gonna go into it?
I wasn't immediately drawn to you.
No. Neither one of us were immediately drawn to each other. No.
I thought she was bossy.
And I thought he was a
arrogant
know-it-all, yes. And so we were not drawn to each other whatsoever at the school.
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyways, what drew us to each other? I think we became friends. We just became friends over a period of time through church, because he started coming to church a little bit more and started getting involved in church.
Yeah.
And you actually started talking to me about your ex-girlfriend. That's one of our conversations that we had, and I was trying to give him some advice on his little ex-girlfriend, and he was trying to help me get rid of some other issues that were going on at the time.
It's been a long time ago.
It has been a long time ago, hasn't it? But let's see, yeah, because then after that, I think your mom came in and we went to eat, and that was our first.
Five and Diner.
Yeah, in Jackson, I can remember that. But anyways, we went to eat with his mom and some other friends, and it just we kind of hit it off from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so over 25 years, how has our understanding of love and commitment evolved, and how has it impacted our marriage and pastoral journey? And I will add this little tidbit there. We have been pastoring for, I think we counted it the other day, 17 years.
Yeah, it's 9 years in Texas and going on. We just started our 9th year, I believe, this year.
I think, it would be 9. Yeah, it would have been January, I guess. So yeah. So it's been a journey. But anyway, so how has our understanding of love and commitment evolved, and how has it impacted our marriage and pastoral journey?
Well, for me, it's the understanding that love is not a feeling. It includes feeling. It includes the feeling, but love is much more than just a feeling. So that, and then our experience, just life experiences with being a pastor and dealing with people. You get to see a reflection of things in your own self as you're dealing with people, and you can see parallels in your relationship with others that you deal with in the church, and things that are associated with the church and in life. And so you take those lessons and you take those moments where you discover and you apply them to your life, and you learn and move forward. But
Yeah. You've learned and moved forward.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of lessons that we've had to learn, just
Yeah.
as every other married couple has to learn. So our marriage is not perfect, but we have worked on it. But anyways, what role has faith played in shaping our relationship, both personally and in our ministry?
For me, it's been that we both push each other in a positive way. We've grown together in our marriage and our relationship with God, and it's the way God designed it. But growing together, both mentally, spiritually, I think it's I've often wondered why God would have you marry somebody you don't know, and you can't predict, but you know what's going to happen in the future. But that's the way God, from the beginning, that scripture is what he said in Matthew when he was dealing with some questions that were brought to him. But you get married at an early age. I say early age, we did. I was 18, yes. And you were 19.
20.
You were 20. You were 20. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't be years. No. A year and a half, because not long after you turn 19, so don't go down
there. But it is that becoming one, growing and maturing, both mentally, physically, spiritually, or say both, all of them. So.
Yeah, and then it's because of that. I mean, like you said, putting with somebody that you never thought God would put you with. We never expected that at all. But I think God knew we needed each other to balance each other out, because he has patience. I don't.
I've said and I'll say it. There's nobody else on this earth that would put up with her.
It's on recording.
And there's nobody else on this earth that would put up with me.
It's on recording.
we were truly meant for each other.
Yes. I have to agree with that one. Didn't think it, but yes, absolutely. All right. So what is a specific challenge that we have faced as a couple in our 25 years of marriage, and how did we overcome it?
I mean, there's been many challenges.
Hanging the keys up by the front door. We're still facing that challenge. Don't get.
I mean, there have been many challenges.
Yes,
through
there
25 years. But it's learning to adapt, learning each other's boundaries, learning what stretches and pushes one another towards growth, without breaking the rubber band or
Well, and I would say a specific challenge has been, just to be very specific, I would say a specific challenge has probably been in that balance, like you said, in the balance. Balancing our marriage and balancing our ministry and our children. That's been one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't raised in a pastor's home. My parents did pastor for a short while, but I was I was about 9 years of age. But you come from a pastor's home of years, so that brought a good perspective, so we could know the challenges that were going to be faced by a family ministry. So that's been something that's been very helpful. But yeah, learning how to balance ministry life, home life, work life, school life, family life. There's just many challenges.
Yeah, that's it. So it kind of leads to our next question, because it says balancing marriage and pastoral responsibilities can be demanding, and we know that for sure. So what strategies have we employed to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Well, my family's first.
We made that one priority.
My family's first, and God's first, my family, and then the church. In that order. It helps with goals. It helps with pursuits, and making sure that my family is taken care of first has always been my top priority. Have there been things that needed to have been done with the church? Absolutely. They didn't get done, or they got done late. But the church will take care of itself. So anyways, good, bad, or indifferent, that has been my approach.
Well, and setting boundaries. We've set boundaries between our personal life and between the church, to try to make sure that we prioritize our time with our family, getting out and doing something with the kids, or just even with just ourselves, getting out and trying to make sure that we spend time with each other. So we don't neglect those things, but we don't neglect the people in the church too if they need us. But we also try to convey that message to them to let them know, hey, look, we're still available, but this is what we've got going on right now, so that they understand those boundaries that are there. So I think that's very important, especially if anybody that's watching is in the pastoral ministry. That's something that you definitely want to do, is set those boundaries. So in our years of pastoring together, are there any particular inspiring or memorable, I was fixing to make a new word, moments that stand out? I don't know. Pastoring, it'd be an Angleton if I said anything. The learning the new home missions work and things like that, I think.
There are milestones and benchmarks that we've experienced. One of the more recent ones was probably our 8-week revival that we had during the pandemic, where there were, most churches in our area were closed. We decided to remain open for more than just online services or streaming services, and that was, we saw the pretty powerful move of God, and people were hungry. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. But there are other not any less significant moments in ministry.
No, and for me, I feel like it was Angleton, because we learned a lot in our experience there as a home missions church. Still have people there that we absolutely love. The church there is still growing, but I am so thankful for the journey that we had there, because it did teach us a lot of lessons in pastoring, and so I'm so very thankful for that. So how do we continue to nurture our individual spiritual growth while working together in ministry? It's a deep question.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you lead on this one.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't really know. He'll have some profound explanation, because that's just who he is. He's just like one of those with a halo, persons. But I'm not. I'm like way down here and whatever. But anyways, for me, nurturing my individual spiritual growth while working together in ministry, I have to deal with me. So in our ministry, working together, he's the pastor. Yes, I'm the pastor's wife, but I'm the one. I'm there in the music ministry. I'm there trying to back him up, I'm that person out in the crowd that you might hear occasionally going, yeah, amen, and nobody else is doing anything, but I'm standing back there and I'm like, shooting him on. But for myself personally, I try to make it a goal to spend my own personal time in devotion. Not saying that it's not good to do devotion with him. Sometimes we sit down at the table and then he's doing his little devotion and I'm doing my devotion, and then we converse back and forth about it or whatever. But for the most part, having my own personal time, I'm a very big on having my own personal time. He'll just tell you that. It's not a bad thing. It's just who I am. But anyways, having that moment by myself to do the things that I need to really helps me in my spiritual growth area. I need those moments to grow, but I also enjoy, the back and forth. Hey, look, this is what I was reading today. Did you know this? I think I even said something to you the other day about Proverbs. I said, I don't know why I didn't know this, but the last 2 books of Proverbs weren't written by Solomon. And I was like, what? And so we were having a conversation back and forth. And then he's like, did you know Psalms, whatever was written by Moses? I don't remember what chapter you said it was, but
90.
Yes. So anyways, it's just little things like that. And it helps each of us, but we also have our own personal time. That way we can make sure that we're prepared for what we need to do from there.
Well, yeah, self-care. I always tease that Mondays are my Sabbath, my sabbatical, and I try to.
So are Saturdays, and let's see what else. No, I'm kidding.
I try to take Monday and unwind from. I live from Wednesday to Sunday. I live for Wednesdays and Sundays, and so Monday is a day that I can unwind, and I try to do things that I enjoy doing. I like reading. I like getting out, going in to eat with ministry friends, reading. There's things that I try to do to take care of my way to process of a long week. So anyway, that I do have Sundays are a final day for assignments to be turned in for school. And so anyways, Sunday night culminates by me coming home and taking a big deep breath, and then I try to unwind with leisurely activities for myself on Mondays.
And I would say that Tuesdays you start back up to work.
Yeah.
So really, technically, he only has one day off. So
Yeah.
I will say that for him.
And it doesn't,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the plan and goal. Sometimes ministry demands, for whatever reasons, pop up and need to be handled, and I will take care of those. But I'm not a strict, like, don't contact me type of person. I'm always reachable. So,
Yeah.
but
So
I do try to
part of the
take
job.
I do try to take my Monday to focus on myself.
Okay, so marriage often involves growth and change. So how have we both supported each other through personal and professional transformations?
Before I started my journey in education, this last leg after I finished my bachelor, I sat down with the family and we discussed at length the demands of what this degree would require and whether or not we were willing to make that sacrifice. And so everybody was on board. They knew that my time was going to be demanded of me for about 3 to 4 years, maybe even a little bit longer. And so that was something that we decided that we were, willing to sacrifice for a future investment. And so that, that's part of it. But
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we have to support each other through it. And it's the same thing with the blog here. He supported me when
Yes.
I told him that I wanted to do it, and that what my inspiration was is to encourage other pastors' wives and just people in general. He was probably the guiding factor of making sure that I followed through with it, because I was like, oh, it's going to cost, and it's going to do this, and it's going to do that. And he's like, no, do it. If that's what you feel like, if that's what you want to do. So supporting each other that way is the best. Yes, I'll be glad when school is over with, but I know that there's more to it after that, and it has helped him in his ministry and things like that. So altogether, just being there to support one another has completely helped. How do we prioritize self-care and ensure we stay connected with each other and miss the demands of pastoral work?
We haven't been as religious about it the last little bit, but trying to schedule in date nights, even if it's something that we do around the house, or we don't adventure really far out, but that we do focus on that. We do make sure we try to take time for ourselves, I feel.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree. It's not just with date nights. I mean, it's even with our kids. We try to schedule times out or just to spend time with them. But one of the biggest things that I think, and it has not waned, has been the at night before we go to bed, we always make sure that we have a span of time just for ourselves, just the two of us, without any distractions, phones, nothing, and just being with us. And so to me, that's a huge part of our self-care, because that's our moments to talk, and we're not talking shop talk in the bedroom, because you don't take those things into the bedroom, but it's our time to wind down and just talk about each other. And I think we have talked about being in the car together before. And
You like to trap me.
yes.
Entrapment.
Yes. I like to pin him down, and my daughter just has a conniption when I say things like that, but it gets the answers that I need, people.
Well, and I was thinking, we do something that we do like doing as a family is thrifting.
Yes.
Kids like going.
Season
Yeah, we like going to yard sales as a family. She's looking for things for the kids and things that she can use around the house, and I'm looking for things that I can sell. So everybody gets involved, and so that's a good way that we spend time together. And then we'll always throw in a meal somewhere. We'll stop and eat.
And sometimes someplace new that not everybody likes, but we find something that we will enjoy. So
yeah, it's just time together
over here.
Yeah.
That'd probably be a good thing to tell people, is just to make sure that you find something that your family enjoys to do together, or you and your spouse enjoy to do together. I'm not a huge fan. He loves to golf. I'm not a huge fan of golfing, but I have gone and sat in the golf cart with him. He tries to get me to do it more, and maybe this year I'll try to let him pin me down a little bit more to go golfing or sit in the cart. But anyway, so just finding some, you know, things that we love to do together. All right, looking back, is there any advice that we wish we would have received when we first started our journey as a married couple?
Yes. Invest in your marriage. Go to marriage seminars. Check out, there are good resources for godly advice when it comes to marriage. I'm a facilitator in Prepare and Enrich. I would take the course. You know, there are so many ways that you can invest in your marriage that will have lifelong impact. And it's not, you know, anyways, that would be if I could go back and give myself advice, it would be invest in premarital counseling and instruction and counsel, and never stop investing in your marriage.
No, and I agree with you on that one, because many times we get to the point where, and I've seen it in elder couples, people that have been married for several years, and they're just like, oh, it's just the way we are. It's just the way whatever. And I'm thinking, why would you want to settle when you can, there's so much more that you can have in your intimacy and just your personal relationship with your spouse. I mean, there's so much more there that you're missing by just settling. And so never settle, but definitely work on that aspect of marriage.
Invest.
Yes, do. I mean, whatever you've got to do, keep doing it. And you're never wrong. Does that make sense? You're never wrong. Double negative. Well, it makes sense to me. The point is that you are wrong sometimes. And so don't ever think that your marriage is perfect and that you're just smooth sailing and nothing's wrong, because it's kind of like when a woman says, or husband asks her, is there something wrong? She's like, no, everything's fine. Nothing's fine.
Yeah, it's a loaded question.
Yeah, nothing's fine. Just remember that nothing's fine. So therefore, find a way to make it better and work on it.
Invest. Never stop. I mean, there's a lot of ways that it could be parallel with your relationship with God. You never stop pursuing and seeking God and trying to grow in your relationship with Him. And so it should be
the same thing with your spouse,
any different than with your marriage.
Spouse, kids, all of it. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Okay, as pastors, how do you address the unique challenges faced by couples within your congregation, drawing from our own experiences?
It has its challenges. I don't, we've just now got a teenager, so there's some instruction that I can't give, and even then it would be limited to what I would be able to give from an experience standpoint. But I feel like we have a very well-rounded relationship, and so I look at myself first when I try to give counsel or advice. I put myself in a position of what would it be like in those shoes. But having gone through, going back to some of the questions earlier, it's about just what it is that we have learned through the 25 years now, working on 26 of being married and everything that comes with that. It is quite a feat, especially in today's world. But it's a case-by-case basis, and I like some of the spontaneity about it. And one of the things that I remember having to do a class project in college, and part of it was public speaking, and I had to give a speech extemporaneously, and that was something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy the challenges that you never know what a day might bring, or a phone call or a text. And so, but just drawing from past experience and my personal relationship with God, and then our marriage, and then our family with our children. I'm not Solomon, of course. So what I could do is maybe give ideas or suggestions. But anyways, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let him that's good enough for me, so I'm just saying. All right, celebrating milestones is significant. What are some lessons or insights we've gained from 25 years of marriage that we would like to share with others?
It kind of goes back to the one question I said earlier, or the one question that was asked. Invest in your marriage.
That was great.
You can never go wrong by devoting time to personal growth and then relational growth. Those are two things that I would, if you're growing, you're being met with new challenges. Your mind, I like having discussions with you. I have a few friends that I like having conversation with, because you never know what the next question or statement is going to bring, and there's a level of mental stimulation that comes where it's, the mind is constantly working. But in doing all of that, you're stretching your boundaries, you're stretching your borders, you're challenging yourself to grow, and I think that's what life is all about.
Yeah, I agree that it's about the making sure that you take care of your marriage. I agree with that. Never give up on it. Always try to learn things that are new. I wish we would have known then what we know now. I think we would have saved ourselves a lot of headache in our marriage. Lots of arguments had we been equipped with some of the tools that we're equipped with now.
There were probably several years that we could have been classified as stuck.
Yeah.
Our relationship was stuck. It was at a stalemate. There was no deepening of intimacy or emotional bonding, just because we didn't know how, but we had committed to stick it out. And so we did, and we had our ups and downs, and thankfully the Lord had mercy and grace on us to let us make it to this point. But I look forward to as many years as God gives us.
As long as we don't kill each other first. No, but that's it. I think that explains pretty much who we are. There's so much more to our story and how things have happened and transpired in our lives, and things that I could probably go into in depth on my blog and really share with you. One of the things that I have told you that I'm talking about this year is self-care. And so self-care would involve part of it with your relationship with your spouse. Don't think that they don't want anything to do with you, because if you start building on your marriage and you start making sure that they feel like they're important to you, things will change for the better in your relationship. I really feel that because we're one, and that being that one is very noticeable, I think, now more than ever.
One of the things that I remember teaching our premarital couples, or going through the premarital counseling, is something that stuck with me is it's no longer me, but it's we.
Yeah.
And so you make decisions as a single individual that are beneficial to yourself, but when you go into covenant with God in the marriage relationship, you're making decisions that affect two people at least, until children come along, and then more. But it's no longer about me, but it's about we.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for doing this with me today. I really appreciate it. Takes a lot. I have to yank him by his ear and pull him where I need him to go.
I'll give him my bill later.
I'll take care of it later. Okay. But anyway, so thank you. I'm not editing nothing. It's all legit right there. It makes everybody laugh and makes them happy, because that's what we're all about, is encouragement and chaos, marriage, family, ministry, and homemaking. I mean, that's what it's about. But anyways, thank you once again for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I know it probably took a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to just share with you just a little bit of our story and some of the things that we have dealt with in life. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And once again, we'll see you later. Bye from Making. Mwah.